budget for the fiscal year 2012-13, Board of Alderman and Board of Apportionment and Taxation. If you please turn our attention now over to the Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Judge, you're not mad, are you?
Yeah, Mark.
You've got this very stern look on your face.
I am waiting for you, Mr. Mayor.
You're patiently waiting, huh? Okay, I will not hold you up any longer. Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Apportionment and Taxation, members of the Board of Alderman, and guests in the audience. Now, there's a little sidebar here that says, don't forget to mention friends and critics. So, I mentioned it. Tonight is my 21st budget presentation. And I want to remind everyone, as I do every year, that this is a process that will last 5.5 months and undergo quite a bit of scrutiny and detail. And so, at any time, if the urge piques you, please feel free to call on me to answer questions and clarifications of anything that is incorporated into our budget. This budget presentation incorporates over 20 years of economic history, economics that reflects both robust and recessionary conditions. And Shelton has rode the waves and weathered the storms associated with our national economy. This year also represents the third recession and fourth property value reevaluation under my administration. What remains constant is that the impacts to Shelton has been marginal in these recessionary times. And as I often say, that during these recessionary times, Shelton is usually the last one in and the first one out. You may not understand what that means, but simply enough is that we're the last ones to be affected by it and the first ones to be out of it because of our economic stability, because we've paid so close attention to our tax base. And so Shelton has benefited greatly because of that. And what is different is a departure from the past three reevaluations where the property value burden has shifted from commercial to residential, now reverses itself to greater impacts on the commercial and industrial properties and less to our residential properties. Reevaluation is important and necessary to healthy communities and becomes an issue of fairness to all taxpayers. While residential property values have dropped and the commercial and industrial properties have held in value, the result is that most homeowners will see a reduction in their overall taxes once the mill rate is set. The overriding issue for all taxpayers is that going forward, Shelton will remain economically stable. Despite an average drop of 16% in our grand list this year, a trend experienced by every municipality due to the national economic downturn, Shelton's future will again show growth. Activity in planning and zoning has once again increased. Projects in the downtown such as Avalon's Bay's 250-unit residential complex, as well as the Canal Street reconstruction and the conclusion of the Riverwalk will yield large dividends in the forms of tax revenues for our city. These and other projects signal new development opportunities along with a comfort level for continued private investment in Shelton. Economic stability is the key to any meaningful success for our city, our state, and our country. We in Shelton have and will break from the norm. This budget reflects spending levels that are less than 1% more than last year, and largely due to an increase in debt service that will begin a downward trend in fiscal year 2013 and 14. City spending remains flat and still allows us to invest in road reconstruction, to purchase fire and police vehicles, to upgrade fire and police communication systems. Our employment levels are expected to remain constant, and we expect to continue with in-house infrastructure improvements. We expect to create greater efficiencies in the way we deliver city services, and are soon to announce an expanded waste stream recycling program designed to decrease recycling spending while boosting revenues from this source. And the main area of concern for any municipality is the cost of educational services. As a nation, we spend more than most free countries, while our test results remain stagnant and below our world competitors. In past years, I've been critical of how education does not manage its money to the benefit of the student-teacher relationship. While the city of Shelton cannot control the unfunded mandates from both the state and federal governments, our Shelton Board of Education must be more student classroom oriented in its distribution of its financial resources. At a time when Shelton student enrollment is dropping, our Board of Education should allow resources to improve academic performance. And more funding can be made available for student academic achievement only, in my view. And the recent pay to participate implemented by the Board of Education is wrong and unnecessary, particularly for our families in these economic times. And one must question its validity, considering the Board of Education finished the school year with an $850,000 budget surplus. This budget appropriates $285,000 for the elimination of pay to participate when and only when the Board of Education rescinds the policy that established this program. And finally, while the state and federal government may not realize they should not spend more money than they make, we in Shelton remain committed to a balanced budget. In fact, 20 balanced budgets along with 20 budget surpluses, all while never reducing the workforce or cutting services, and at the same time buying open space, building or rehabbing schools, implementing brownfields remediation in our downtown, rehabbing ball fields, creating walking trails, a dog park, and community gardens. And this is the reason why Bloomberg Business Week, a national financial publication, has recognized Shelton as Connecticut's most affordable city 2 years in a row. And so, this budget is based on revenues and expenditure projections of $113,364,450, and will result in a mill rate increase to 21.85 mills. And just as a word of caution, while the mill rate has risen because of reevaluation, real estate taxes are expected to drop for most residential properties. And I know that this has got to be a welcome sign for our residents in this very difficult economy that the country has gone through in the last 3 years. So, we're off and running on another budget season. And I look forward to working with everybody in the coming months. Thank you.